One of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of new startup businesses kind of embrace, and I believe it's quite a travesty based on a lot of the literature that exists out there that is really tailored for, we'll call them Silicon Valley startups, which are incredibly rare in the entrepreneurial ecosystem. And that is that they want to develop a product or a service that will appeal to a very large audience. And when I tell them that you're probably much better off instead of trying to create that type of mass appeal product, but to become very hyper focused on either a demographic or something along that line. And basically you want to send the customers a message that says, I understand you. I understand your culture. I understand your values. So when we think about big companies, we think of Google, for example. Well, Google is real popular in the United States. It's probably the number one search engine on the globe. But in China, there's another company that does very much similar things that Google is. It's called Baidu. Now, in China, Baidu says, why use Google? Because they're just for the masses. But us at Baidu, we understand what it's like to be Chinese. And so what we're going to do is we're going to deal with it and give you a search engine that's tailored for your culture and your value system. So, again, many of my clients, they may be opening up a restaurant and they're competing with big chain restaurants. And if you think about chain restaurants, they have very long supply chains. They're getting all of their supplies from national suppliers. There's not a lot of differentiation between them. But if you're a restaurant, I say, listen, how you differentiate yourself by sourcing your stuff locally. You don't have to go through all those big shippers and everything else and get it frozen and stuff. You're working with local gardeners to provide your produce or local farmers to go ahead and get your proteins, that kind of stuff. One of the best ones that I often use as an example when I try to share this with many of my clients is the story essentially of C.J. Walker. She was the first African American millionaire. And sometimes she goes by the name of Sarah Breedlove as well, which I think is her pre-married name. But essentially, she developed a product that was just for women and just for black women. So that was a very niche down kind of a market, because what she said is, listen, you can buy hair products for, the masses, but they don't really understand our culture and our values and the simple problems that we have. And so she was developing hair tonics and that kind of stuff specifically for women and of African descent, and that were unique, and she was basically saying, I'm going to be hyper-focused on just appealing to you. So again, when I talk to my clients, I tell them, listen, don't go after things that are mass appeal. That's going to be a very busy market kind of things, and you'll probably be, squished by the big guys out there. So look for ways in your business to become more hyper-focused by saying, we understand your culture and your value of a very small niche of people, and target your marketing and your products and services just to that small class.